What up, though, Detroit? We are back for another episode of Detroit Culture Shifters. And you know, one thing about the D, we do shift the culture. And this time we have Dr. Maya Cobb. And make sure that you have that doctor in front of her name, okay? Because she's out here reshaping how Detroit families are thinking about mental health, education, and just emotional well-being. Through her amazing organizations and through some very interesting avenues, she is making sure that therapy is accessible to all. I don't want to spoil the good news, so let's talk to the Dr. Cobb. Good morning.
Good morning, Leisha. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to officially see you because I've been following and seeing all the great things, and I don't want to spoil anything that we're going to be talking about today. But for those who may not know who Dr. Maya is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a licensed clinical therapist. I'm registered in the state of Michigan. I have my doctorate in counseling, education, and supervision. I'm an entrepreneur. I own 2 businesses, Journey to Clarity and Complete Clarity. I'm also a clinical supervisor for limited licensed therapists and counseling interns.
So what don't you do?
That's a good question.
So what inspired your journey into just the mental health arena? Because I feel like you have to be a certain type of human with a certain type of heart to really want to go into this field. So what was the spark for you?
So it's interesting. I wish I had a better answer to this question, but my 12th grade year at Renaissance High School, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I had to go to college. That's what my parents said. And I took a psychology class. My teacher's name was Mrs. Fakori. Shout out to her if she's out there somewhere. She changed the whole trajectory of my life. And I learned so much about myself because I was so lost at this point in time. I learned so much from the psychology content. And I thought like, oh my gosh, I want other people to have this same experience, because if you can understand things about yourself, you can start to make changes, you can start to heal. And so that's when I decided I have to go into the mental health field. I want people to have the same experience I'm having.
I love that. And you were explaining how you wear several hats. You're a therapist, you're a business owner, you're an educator, you're also an advocate. You do a lot. So how do these different roles like support families who need it? Like, how are you able to weave everything that you do to make what you've created?
That's a great question. So what I try to do is push back on any type of barrier or any type of limitation to access that somebody might have. So as a business owner, one of the things I like to do is figure out ways to increase access for people for whatever the service is that I'm offering, whether it's tutoring, whether it's therapy, even for the supervision that I offer, making sure that I'm accessible to people. I offer a lot of sliding scale fees. I've seen clients for free in my business. That's why we have interns so that they can see clients for free. My ultimate goal is just to make sure that people have the access that they need.
I love that. And you kind of hinted already on it. But let's talk about Complete Clarity real quick, because I think it's very telling of who you are without even knowing who you are. The fact that you are bridging not only therapy, but also tutoring with it. Because I don't think a lot of people realize that they kind of connect. Like, education and emotional well-being are essentially very connected. I'll just say that because I'm trying to find another word. But why was it so important to create a company and an organization that strives to connect both mental health and, you know, well-being and success in academics?
So when I was going through graduate school, I was just looking for a way to have a couple extra dollars in my pocket. And,
that's real.
You know, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good at school. I'm getting my master's. I can tutor. And so I worked for a larger national organization tutoring. And as I started to get to know the students, I recognized, like, wait a minute, y'all don't need help with school. You're having things that are going on at home. And because I was in school for counseling, I was able to start to use some of my skills, communicate things to parents. And I remember one day in particular, it always sticks with me. I was working with this baby. She couldn't have been more than like 7 or 8 years old. And we're working on homework. And she looks at me and she says, do you think it's okay that my daddy hits my mommy? And I was like, oh. And we talked about that a little bit, but I recognized, like, how in the world are you going to focus on this math when you're dealing with watching your parents experience the domestic violence at home?
Right.
And you're in elementary school. You don't have the tools to go through this. As an adult, we struggle with tools to experience that. So what are we doing for the kids? So So that's what sparked me to break away from the national company and start my own business that incorporated the two things together.
One, the fact that you were able to sit down with that young girl and explain to her a very pivotal moment, because like you said, even an adult probably wouldn't have handled that situation properly, is truly amazing. So shout out to you for being able to help her through that. But I feel like a lot of times there are challenges that parents don't realize that the kid is going through. So what are some things that you've realized that parents may not realize is happening in their kids' lives that you feel as though Complete Clarity can help with?
That the parent is the problem. And I know I get a lot of pushback from parents when I say stuff like that, but even myself as a parent, I had to recognize the ways in which I was hindering them, not because I was being abusive or I was being harmful. And this isn't even to blame parents, it's to recognize that I have all of these other things going on. My goal at the end of the day is for you to finish the homework assignment. I'm not thinking about what happened to you at school that day. Did you like your hair? How are you feeling about yourself? Are you tired? Are you dealing with anxiety? I'm trying to cook dinner. I'm trying to get these things done. Listen, the math homework is due tomorrow. I need you to finish the homework. And so one thing that Complete Clarity offers is like, a break for parents so that you don't have to deal with the homework, and then a way to look at what are the blind spots that you're missing. And so I look at the tutors as like a translator, if you will. A lot of times our tutors will go to parents and say, hey, you know, Maya's having a hard time in school because there's a kid that's sitting next to her that's always talking about her gym shoes. And so it's hard for her to focus in math class because this is happening. And unfortunately, as a parent, sometimes we just miss that because of all of the things going on in our day-to-day life.
And that's so real. And I understand that parents could, feel a little bit, hurt by being called out. But that's the need of community, because sometimes, like you said, blind spots are there. We don't see everything. So is there an age group that you work with Complete Clarity, just so that everyone knows?
Absolutely. All of the babies. So we have tutors that I'm sure will go down to as young as 3 or 4 years old, but typically we service like that K through 12 age range, but we have had some preschoolers before.
And what has been one of the most rewarding parts of creating Complete Clarity? Has it been that story that you shared, or is there another situation that you were like, wow, I'm so glad that I actually pushed through and made Complete Clarity?
Kids are fun. They're fun. And so watching them grow and how expressive they are, one of my favorite moments happened a couple weeks ago during our girls support group that Complete Clarity offers. It's called We Listen and We Don't Judge. One of our interns found that because it's popular on social media. And the little girl, I don't know, she's maybe 10 or 11 years old. She was like, I love it here. This is great. And my heart just bursted, like, oh my goodness, as hard as it is for me to show up sometimes and create the resources and make sure everything is in order, it's moments like that where it's like, okay, somebody's got to pour into the babies, and it has to be a person that's not always concerned about making $1 off of every kid that comes in the door.
And that's so real, especially because, like you said, you have your hands in a whole completely different side of counseling with Journey to Clarity. Can we talk about that? Because again, Dr. Cobb is a Jane of all trades.
Yes, so Journey to Clarity is my big baby right now. She is doing a lot of big things. We are offering walk-in therapy right now, which has us booming. I love servicing adults as well because of the self-awareness that they have. A lot of times children are in therapy because somebody pushed them to be in therapy, but many adults are there, unless they're court ordered, by choice. And so that's a completely different dynamic, and helping them explore and, again, tearing down those barriers for them as well has been incredibly rewarding.
And I'm so glad that you brought up the walk-in therapy, because as someone, and I'm very candid on radio and on my social media that I'm in therapy, I love my therapist hands down.
Oh, yes.
I feel as though I would not be the person that I am today without going through therapy, because you don't realize how many little things turn into huge moments where it's like, wow, I didn't realize that affected me so much, and this is why I'm doing this. So hearing that you're offering therapy in such an accessible way, it's just incredible, because I think that the conversation recently has been that therapy is not accessible. And now you've created an avenue where people can literally just walk in and get something that especially African American families would not have had access to. So can you explain the process of these walk-ins? Do they literally just walk in? And like, how does it work?
Yep, you just pull up. So you can come in between our business hours, 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday. We are closed on Friday. There have been a lot of people that have tried to pull up on Friday. We're not open. We're never open on Fridays. And then we do a half day on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So you come in, if you have insurance, we'll bill your insurance as long as there is zero out-of-pocket cost to the client. But if you pull up and walk in, that session is completely free to the client. And if you don't have any insurance at all, you come in, we still see you. Unfortunately, we're not able to offer that virtually. You do have to literally walk into the establishment, but we just need your ID and an insurance card if it's applicable.
I love that. And I know that you've already specified why it was so important, but I feel as though we say that it's important for therapy to be accessible, but then we don't actually take the steps to do it. So what was that spark or that moment that you were like, you know what, I'm going to put this on my shoulders and make sure that my community actually gets what they need? Like, what was that moment that you were like, this is absolutely necessary?
Yeah, so in training my admin team, they're absolutely phenomenal. None of them, though, are in the mental health world. They're our phenomenal admin team. They're very good at organization, all of those things. And so I would hear people in distress on the phone. Sobbing, crying, I need an appointment, I don't know what to do, my kid, my wife, whatever's going on, just in distress. And, you know, no knock on my admin team, but they're like, oh, okay, and like, what's your address? And they're going through the intake process. Right. And I'm like, okay, what, I get it. We have to get certain information about you in order to be seen. And then you got to go through the billing department and we got to verify your insurance. You got to wait 5 to 7 business days, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, what if we could just eliminate all of that and you can just come in, I can have you sign the 3 documents that I need you to sign legally in order for me to bring you back to see you, and then we can figure out all the other stuff later. But when you're in distress right now, even if you can't get us on the phone, even if you're not able to wait the 5 to 7 days for an appointment, you can just pull up, you can see somebody, and then after your session, we can go through additional questions and paperwork. And then additionally, last year, towards the end of 2025, we had so many clinical interns that were set to start in January. And in Michigan and other states, you need a certain amount of hours in order to graduate. And so myself and my clinical manager, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, we got 10 people who are going to be here. How do we make sure they have all their hours? And I'm like, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let the people pull up and walk in, and then have each intern have a day where they're on call. And so you're available to see whoever comes in. And then if they happen to not have insurance, they can continue to work with you, and then we'll go from there.
Come on. The brain that you have, Dr. Cobb, is really incredible. So what has been the response so far? Because I based off of what I'm seeing on socials, everybody and their mama has been trying to get in. So what is the response from your side?
We're getting a phenomenal response, which is beautiful and overwhelming at the same time.
I can imagine.
We're going through some growing pains. I know that there have been some folks frustrated about a wait or it taking a while to get somebody on the phone. So we're working on all of those things behind the scenes, but I try to reiterate on social media to please pack your patience, because you are walking in without an appointment. So that is something I'm really trying to communicate to folks, is that yes, we are here and we are able to service you, but even if you come on a day where we have 4 people available for walk-ins, if all 4 people happen to be taken up at the moment, you might have to wait a little bit. But we offer snacks. We have some throwback shows on the TV. You know, it's a good time. We watching the Fresh Prince. We kicking
Come on
it.
Now.
Right? Okay, you got to throw the black cartoons on there, the black sitcoms. So we try to make it an inviting environment for folks to come in. So I do my best on that regard, but the response has been very overwhelming. I love it. I'm so grateful for it, and we're hoping to expand so we can service more people.
But no, that makes sense, because at the end of the day, the people who, you know, have the appointments also have to be seen too. Yeah. So it's a balancing act. And I feel like every day is going to get better and better. But is there any way that we can support you? Because I feel like you're supporting the entire metro area. What can we do to help you, girl? Like, is there anything that we can do? Are you looking for people? Do you need funds? Like, what do we need?
We absolutely are looking for people. So we are currently hiring for multiple different areas. We're hiring for an admin assistant. We are certainly hiring more therapists. And then we've opened up a few more slots for our clinical internship. Now, mind you, we've gotten a lot of great applicants for our clinical internship. However, you do have to be in a master's program, either in counseling, psychology, social work, or a licensed marriage and family therapist. And you have to be at the point where you're in internship. So we cannot allow bachelor's level folks, for example, to come in and start seeing clients.
Right.
We want to play them games over here.
Right.
So we are hiring for those three things. And then, of course, if anybody wants to donate, that's always an option as well. Our community coordinator, Faith Lee, she is figuring out a way to set up a fund so that those who have been interested in donating are able to do that.
Perfect. And is there a way that, say someone actually wants to book your services, they don't necessarily want to walk in, like they actually want therapy to be a lifelong journey, is there a way that they can reach out to you? Are you taking new clients at all?
So I personally am not accepting new clients. My current clients will be so mad at me if I started accepting new clients. In fact, some of them were like, so I see what's happening on social media. What does that mean for us? Am I going to have my slide? Are we good?
They had to make sure that they were straight.
Exactly, exactly. So if you are looking to work with one of our phenomenal therapists that are accepting new clients, and we do have some folks with immediate availability, I recommend that folks book a new client registration call. If you call the phone regularly, you might not be able to get someone on the line because we are quite busy. But if you book a new client registration call, it allows you to upload your ID and your insurance to our HIPAA compliant portal. And then a member of our admin team will call you at the time that you selected so we can make sure we're not playing phone tag or anything like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Because I was wondering that. I was like, I know that you guys have a lot of phone traffic. So I'm like, is there somewhere else that people, can get the access that they need? Now, on top of the fact that you're running these two businesses, Little Birdie told me that you've become a 3-time author. Like, what's happening here?
So I successfully completed my dissertation in 2025.
Let's pause right here. That is a hard work. Dissertations are no joke. Congratulations. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No problem. I love my dissertation. I'm very passionate about the work that I was doing and the research. I'm very into the Black mother-daughter relationship and how that impacts the identity development and self-worth in the daughter. The dissertation, though, it's very dense. It's very thick. It's very academic.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to break it down into bite-sized pieces to where the average person who's not in higher education and doesn't want to read 50-11 citations is able to read it, digest it, and gain the information. So I do have what is a little snippet of it that's out now on Amazon and my website, The Relationship Blueprint. And it's a workbook. It's very interactive. And it goes through pretty much what were you taught during childhood that you didn't even realize you were being taught about. What is a relationship supposed to look like? What should we expect? What's tolerated? What's not tolerated? And all of the baggage that we carry that, again, a lot of us are not even aware that's there.
And you mean relationships in all facets, platonic, romantic, or is it just mother-daughter? Like, is it for everyone?
It's for everybody. So while my research specifically is on the mother-daughter dynamic, my passion and myself as a clinician, I look at the whole parent-child relationship. So this workbook is gender neutral. Whatever parent it is you would like to explore, whatever gender you identify as, it's applicable to you.
So I feel like it would be remiss of me to not ask this, because as someone who was really scared to walk into a therapy clinic to, talk and bare my soul, because you've really got to be open and honest for you to actually heal. And that's terrifying for any human being, regardless of your demographic, your age, like where you come from. What is something that, as a therapist, but also I'm going to assume, so you can also tell me if I'm wrong, someone who also actively goes through therapy herself.
Oh, yes.
What is something that you would say to someone who's right on the edge, who's like, I've heard all these great things about therapy, but is it really true? I know that I need that healing and that support, but I don't know, money's tight. I'm hearing the stigmas that we all have grown up with. Like, what would you say to someone who's right on the edge?
A lot of the negative things about therapy, it's rooted in a very outdated version of what therapy is. And I can speak for myself with my therapist, love her down, and I can speak for myself as a therapist. It doesn't look like what a lot of people think it looks like. Some of my clients have me cracking up laughing. Like, we in there kikiing, and then you might be bursting into tears, and then we might go back to kikiing. It's an interactive relationship. It's not just, oh, I sit here with my tie on and my notebook and I'm analyzing you and we're having this very formal discussion and we're going through a treatment plan. No, I'm here to help you figure out whatever the heck is going on in your life in whatever way that works best for you.
Right.
So what I would say to that person is, give it a try. I'm also big on not every therapist is the best fit for everybody. And so keep looking. If you had a negative experience, if your first experience is with somebody and you're like, I'm not really feeling it, keep looking. Keep looking until you find that person, because once you find that person, life-changing.
I have to agree, because I was with a previous therapist, not saying that she wasn't great, it just didn't, the match, the connection wasn't there. But the minute I found this girl, like you said, we be kikiing in there, I be having her laughing on our Zoom calls, and then I'm like, wait, no, but I'm actually sad. What is we actually need to talk, wait, hold on. But I love what you have created. I love that you have not only championed for yourself, but you're championing for the entire metro area, making sure that we feel seen, not only by the community, but by ourselves. I think that with therapy, it's so fulfilling to realize what, I don't want to say what's wrong, because nothing is wrong with a person.
Yeah.
But there was something that changed, and now everything makes sense. Because it's a very fulfilling moment to be like, okay, well, now I have answers, and now I have the tools to figure out how to do it. And now these things or these outbursts or these feelings won't happen as aggressively as they might have happened before. So I love that you have created an atmosphere and a space that people can feel heard, they can feel seen, even if they may not have, the insurance backing and, the support from their families to push them. Is there any advice that you want to give to parents who know that their child is struggling, but they don't really know where to start themselves? Is it bringing them to complete clarity, or what advice or things that you would share with a parent who's like, no, I think something's there and I just don't know how to attack it from the right perspective?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, talk to your baby. Your baby has more answers than anybody can ever give you. I know a lot of people want to lean into like the books and social media, but they don't know your kid. Ask your kid, and if your kid isn't old enough for you to start that dialogue, absolutely take them to somebody, talk to their teacher even, if you're not ready to talk to a therapist. Now, of course, you know me, I'm big on therapy, so taking your child to therapy is incredibly helpful. The therapist, again, acts as like a translator. So like, hey, this is what's going on with kid, and this is what I think can be helpful. One of my favorite things about having Complete Clarity and Journey to Clarity in the same building is watching parents go to therapy while their child is in therapy. And so I encourage parents, if your child is in therapy, you yourself also need to be in therapy, because if there is something going on with your child to where they need to talk to a therapist, that in and of itself is worth you figuring out how to process in your own therapy session.
For sure. And I think it's also just a very good role model stance, because the kid's going to be like, okay, well, if mommy and daddy are doing it, it's not too scary for me to do it either. I love that. Wait, we need to let everyone know where they can follow and they can get all this information, because I know we just threw a lot at everybody. Can you let us know where they can find you and your amazing organizations?
Absolutely. So if you're looking for me, my Instagram is Dr. Maya Cobb. If you're looking for Journey to Clarity, the Instagram is Journey to Clarity, and I believe there's an underscore after it. Complete Clarity is Complete Clarity. I believe that's what it is. I think it's just Complete Clarity.
No,
I don't think
right.
there's an underscore.
You're right.
And then on TikTok, where we have completely blown up, even though I don't have a personal TikTok, you can find me in Journey to Clarity on there. It's Journey to Clarity _
Love that. And obviously with Detroit Culture Shifters, we always try to, push our flowers forward while they can still smell them. And there are a lot of people who may not have, the platform, or may go very unknown, but have been doing dynamic work within our community. Who would you want to see on this platform who deserves their flowers?
Absolutely. So I would love to see Jessica Mayfield-Ashwood on this platform. She is a Black therapist. She is a social worker based in the city of Detroit. And above all of that, she is a phenomenal author of children's books. And she has this very special way of breaking down such a complex topic related to mental health. Her first book was on anxiety, and she breaks it down in such a way where children can understand. And it's been such a tool that we've used in our office, and I hope that all the parents go buy her book.
Well, we gonna go buy the book today, okay? Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Cobb. If you don't know it already, you are truly incredible, and you are truly shifting the culture for not only Detroit, but everywhere. Congratulations on all your success, and we can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.